So this is a moose accident truck. That's why fender is missing here. Broken. Let's see here, little tufts of moose. That was actually cut out so they could open the door up, and you can see that they had a power shear, but pretty abused truck. But what we're doing here is we don't give a shit about the body. We care about this common rail 24 valve that's going to be sold. So I've already removed the hood, forgot to record. So what I'm going to do is take out this support right here. The intercooler is already loose from it. That was done by the body shop, just for assessing damage and making sure that this was straight. I'm sure this truck was pretty crumpled. It was going to cost more than the truck was worth to fix it, so that's how we ended up with it. So a couple bolts down here. It's kind of interesting. It's a little different than a second gen. On a second gen they have 10mm heads and dinky little bolts that hold these on. On the third gen they have 13mm heads and maybe like an 8mm shank or whatever you call it. I can't remember, but I think the guy is gonna keep the AC pump, power steering pump, wiring harness for the engine, fuel pump and stuff, of course, that's on the engine. Lift pump, I believe, is on the engine also. Unless it's in the tank, then I don't think he's getting the in-tank pump, because that's a lot of work for not a lot of gain. And then that's about it, I think. I don't know. Well, we'll have John answer all those questions, but for right now, I'm just going to videotape. Lift the cab off of the third gen here so we can pull the engine out a little easier. This magic moment. this is 100% one of those trucks that's entirely intended to be pulled off like this, like the Fords and the Duramaxes and stuff. It's just kind of better this way, but gay as hell because it's completely avoidable. They put the cab over the windshield for aerodynamics, so we can have a 2002 or 2003 with 14 miles to the gallon, just like my 70s trucks got that had access and stuff. This is a pretty good reason why you should make sure your shit's not rubbing against your fucking drive shaft. Drive shaft's off. I gotta put a pan underneath this and drain this stuff out, but she's off. And probably, I don't know if I'm gonna pop the transfer case off first or not. Probably just deal with it. Apparently I need to put a block under the front, not the back, because it's already gapped it, so that's really nice. Makes that part easy at least. So, probably do it after lunch. So, the fluid that comes out of the transfer case should not look like fucking Pepto-Bismol. This stuff is water, it's got water in it. So, the front diff had a pretty good amount of water in it too. But transmission and engine look fucking great, so can't really complain there. And the front end seems fine, it just had a little bit of water in it, and it was frozen. It was stuck, it wouldn't move. Had to thaw the truck out, bring it in with the front end up in the air, and thaw the truck out so I could drain the fluid out and put fresh stuff in it. And yeah, I was just draining this out so it wouldn't drip all over the floor when I pulled the transfer case and transmission. And probably should drain the transmission too while I'm at it, because it apparently needs it. But I'll it's red like the shirt, red like the broom, but not red like ATF should be. Transmission's about to come out.
Love took away all that matters. How about you not be retarded? What the fuck are you doing? Bitch, this is literally why I drained all the fucking fluid out of you, you dickhead. You're a fucking idiot. That's not better. You're an asshole.
Okay, so we'll get a board to put underneath this thing so it'll kind of strengthen this pallet up a little bit, and then I gotta find some dunnage and stuff to put underneath here so it'll sit okay. And I don't know if I feel like bringing in the freaking banding setup or just throwing a ratchet strap around it until the guy shows up and then he can use his own ratchet straps. But that. I think this thing had 250,000. Somewhere between 180 and 250, I think. You know, typical Cummins. Crank seal's not leaking. Or at least the rear crank seal. Front crank seal's not leaking either. No, just kidding. It's leaking. It's always fucking leaking. They always leak. Cummins that doesn't drip everywhere isn't a Cummins.